you ever tried to find that perfect item? Something that speaks to you and is unique to you, whether it's a piece of jewelry, a decoration for your home, or just a simple knickknack. We've all been in that position before, myself included. But luckily, there is a way to make a wide range of items that fit your style and your personal likings. And you can make those things with resin. Resin gives you the perfect opportunity to create things in your style and give you total creative freedom. After months of working and experimenting with resin and creating dozens of different items, I can tell you that resin is extremely easy to work with and learn in just a short period of time. Today, I will talk about what resin is and what it's used for, what supplies you'll need in order to work with resin, and how to use those supplies in order to create your items. So what is resin anyways? Resin is a polymer that is like plastic that can be used in molds or can be used to seal paintings and artworks such as this water bottle I've made right here. There are two different types of resin. There is a type of resin that cures over time. Usually you're going to see this type of resin in two different components, a monomer and a catalyst that when mixed together you pour into your mold and then it will cure over time. Then you have your UV resin. UV resin will usually come in one component and is used for smaller items like jewelry, and you can either use the sunlight to cure your item or a UV lamp to cure your item. Your item will not cure over time. But today we're going to be mostly talking about the curing over time resin. So, what is resin even for? Resin is to create items such as jewelry, decorations. You can use it to create things like ornaments, or you can use it to create things like this coaster that I have made here. There's really so many different things that you can do with resin, and it really only ends with your imagination. So, you're going to need 4 different types of supplies in order to use this resin. You're going to need protective gear, pouring and mixing devices, you're going to need color and decoration, and you're going to need molds to pour your resin into. What kind of protective gear are you going to need? You're going to need gloves to protect your skin from irritation and chemical burns. You're going to need eyewear to protect your eyes. A simple pair of glasses can work. And you're going to need a place that is able to get messy and to get resin stuck on that's not going to destroy your furniture or your home. You're also going to need a well-ventilated area or an area near a window to make sure you're not breathing in too many chemical fumes. So now you're going to need things to mix in. There are 2 different things that you can mix resin within. You can mix resin within a disposable cup or measuring cup, like this one right here. This is just plastic that you can throw away. Or you can use reusable silicone cups so that once the resin dries within the cup, it peels right out, and then you can reuse this as much as you want. You're also going to need disposable mixing sticks in order to mix your resin within these items. So now you need color and decorations. What do I mean by color? Color are going to be things like dyes and mica powders. So what's the difference between a dye and a mica powder? A dye is going to make your resin clear and colorful. It's going to be liquid, and you're just going to push a couple drops into your resin. And a mica powder is a powder that makes your resin opaque and gives it a slight shimmer. So decorations that you can put into your resin can be things like glitter. It can be things like little pieces of confetti like this flamingo confetti I have here. You can use things like fake flowers or dried flowers, little figurines. It really, again, only ends at your imagination. Now you're going to need silicone molds. When you're using resin, you have to use silicone or else the resin is going to stick to your mold and not come out, and it's going to completely ruin your item. So there are so many different types of molds out there, just depending on what you're trying to make. You can make things like globes, you can make things like coasters like I showed you earlier. They have smaller molds to make things like shells and butterflies for things like jewelry. you can really make anything under the sun. You can make trays, you can make bowls, cups, utensils, hair clips, really anything you want to. And most of these items you're going to be able to buy at places like Amazon, Etsy, and stores like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's Fabrics, etc. So how do you use these items in order to create your resin creation? So the process starts with mixing your resin, then you're going to add your color and glitter and decorations, and then you're going to pour your resin into your mold and allow it to cure over time. So with mixing, you're going to want to mix for several minutes slowly and thoroughly in order to create the perfect mixture and so that you don't have too many bubbles within your mixture. Having bubbles can sometimes be preferred within your creation, but a lot of times you want a crisp and clear finish. Then you're going to add your dyes, mica powders, and glitters, and other small decorations. Something to note when you're adding your small decorations is that they are heavier than the resin and can sink to the bottom. So you're just going to add your resin, your mica powder, your glitter, or a combination of any of those items and mix that thoroughly into the resin. Then you're going to take your resin and you're going to pour it slowly into your mold. It's important that you don't want to spill it anywhere or overflow your mold, so pouring it slowly will give you an opportunity to have control over your resin, and it will also limit the amount of bubbles that are in your resin. A good way to get rid of bubbles in your item is using heat, like a lighter or a heat gun. Heat guns are preferred because they're less likely to burn your resin, or you can use isopropyl alcohol and spritz it onto the item and it will pop the bubbles. If there's deep bubbles at the bottom of the mold, you can also use a toothpick to rise those out of the bottom. So, today what I have shown you is what resin is and what it's for, what supplies you need in order to use resin, and how to use those supplies in order to create your perfect item. Using resin absolutely gives you the opportunity to make something totally unique and tailored to your tastes. I cannot wait for you to make your own resin items, your own creations that are perfect for you, and just let yourself be creative and have fun with this process. Thank you.